support their body, to just hang by their arms, because if you do, you stretch your diaphragm and your diaphragm won't breathe and you end up suffocating. That's why they were ordered to go break the legs. Why? Because if you break the legs, they have no way to raise themselves up and catch a breath, and they'll suffocate within a matter of minutes. So you could kill them instantly by just breaking their legs so that they just hang and suffocate. So Jesus is on the cross. He's got the nails in his feet, which are through the median nerves. You can imagine the pain running through his feet. And he raises himself up on his feet so that he could speak just to catch his breath, because then his diaphragm works. And he says, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And then it hurts so bad on his feet, he has to let go, and he comes back down stretching. And now it's pulling on the median nerves in his arms, and his back is already raw and ripped and is sliding up and down that rough wood of the cross. And every time he catches it, he rises up on his feet to take the pressure off his wrists, to say a few more short words, 7 of them. 7's the number of God. Isn't that interesting? And then he falls back down, and just a matter of time, he gives up the ghost after 3 hours. And it's the most painful way to die. Can you imagine just watching someone die like that, much less being on the cross yourself?
Wow. Amazing.
Steve, what about the typology between Abraham and Isaac? Can you make the connections for us, the biblical connections, some of the words that were used between that sacrifice that we see with Abraham and what happened on Calvary?
Yep. The first time the word love is used in the Bible is in Genesis chapter 22. I just put a blog up yesterday about it called Where's the First Time the Word Love is Used? When God says to Abraham, take your son, your only son whom you love, and take him 3 days to Mount Moriah and offer him as a burnt sacrifice. Here we see a father with his only begotten son whom he loves, and you should hear in there John 3:16, for God so loved the world he gave his only begotten son, and that should trigger your mind to say, wait a minute, there's a parallel here. Abraham, the father of an only begotten son, takes him to Mount Moriah. Where's Mount Moriah? The top mountain in Jerusalem, the same place God the Father offered his son. Why did Abraham have to take him there? Because that's the same place God's going to offer his son. God is giving us a human picture of what it's like to offer your only son. He takes him to Mount Moriah, and it says that Isaac carried the wood of the sacrifice on his back. They're going to have a fire. You have to have kindling wood. Isaac was carrying the wood of the sacrifice on his back. When God the Father sent his son to Mount Moriah, what did he have? He also carried the wood of the sacrifice on his back, the cross. Isaac was laid on the wood of the sacrifice. Jesus was laid on the cross of the sacrifice. All of this stuff, it's all parallels. And then when Abraham went to slaughter his son, God says, stop, don't do it. And he looks, and there's a ram with his head stuck in a thorn bush. Jesus, when he goes to Mount Moriah for the sacrifice, he becomes the Lamb of God. God the Father doesn't take his hand away. He does slay his son. And I made a movie, by the way, Jesse, as you know, I made a movie called Abraham, Father of Faith and Works. You can also buy that on my website. And I demonstrate all of this on location. I build an altar. I actually have a ram. I tie the ram up, and I throw him up on top of the wood of the altar, and I kill the ram. No, I don't really, but it looks like I do. But I wanted to make it as real as possible, because God the Father is giving you a human picture of Abraham and Isaac, because God the Father took his son and he slayed him on the same mountain for our sins.
Wow, Steve, I want to talk about